And now here on Radio 4, here's Peter White with In Touch.
Good evening. Tonight, the disability officer who has himself become the victim of discrimination, and the blind service veterans looking forward to a rather special party at a rather special venue. Now, if you're going to throw a party, throw a big one. That's always been my motto, and Blind Veterans UK appears to feel the same. It's their centenary this year, and we're better to have a bash than at Buckingham Palace this coming Thursday. Well, for a century now, the organisation, originally known as St Dunstan's, has been providing rehabilitation, training and residential facilities to servicemen and women who lost their sight directly as a result of action. And in more recent years, that's been extended to anyone in the services who has subsequently had serious visual problems. Some of this week's guests have come from as far afield as the United States, representing the equivalent organisation there. Well, I was joined ahead of the party by Colin Williamson of Blind Veterans UK, former American soldier and riding champion, we'll hear more about that in a moment, Adam Rowland, who lost his sight in Iraq, and Fusilier Sean Stocker, who was blinded in Afghanistan.
6 days before the end of my tour in 2010, I stepped on an improvised explosive device, resulting in me losing both my legs above the knee, lost my left eye, and I was totally blinded in my right eye, as well as various other injuries.
You had to learn to walk again while blind, and obviously only then at the same time adjusting to that. How was that?
At the time I was totally blinded. It wasn't until about a year and a half afterwards, after various operations on the one eye I had left, that I actually regained 30% back of my vision in that eye. So basically when I started out my rehabilitation in Headley Court, it was either learn to walk on my prosthetics with no eyesight or not walk at all. So basically I just tried my hardest to get on my legs every day and basically learn to feel walking through my body rather than seeing what I could actually walk on.
But presumably you did have the dual problem of both your balance and also bashing into stuff.
It's mostly tripping over things because I've lost both my legs above the knee. You only have to catch your foot on something and you hit the deck. It was very hard.
In a couple of months you'll be out of the army. What are your plans?
Well, one of my main plans at the moment, I'm actually raising awareness and funds for the Blind Veterans Charity for the help that they've given me over the past 5 years. When I was first injured, I was having to deal with losing my legs and my eyesight. One of the main things I take from that is that my eyesight affected my life a lot more than what my legs did. Yeah, there was problems combined with walking, that sort of thing, but being able to drive, not being able to use a phone, the internet, write, read.
So you've had to relearn more things, you reckon?
At first, it was just adapting everything from what I used to do before, and Blind Veterans gave me the equipment, like letter reading equipment, computer equipment, that sort of thing, that I actually use in my everyday life now.
You've got a record attempt on, I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, because it was against the odds that I'd actually be able to walk on my prosthetics in the first place. Recently, 5 months ago, I've just undergone surgery to have titanium implants put into my legs rather than using the carbon fibre sockets that cause a lot of problems. The good thing is that these implants give me a lot more feedback from walking. I have a lot more control. And since I've had the operation 5 months ago, I'm walking the best I have done since 2010. And my plan is to hopefully walk the furthest distance that anyone's done with my amputation, well, as far as I know anyway, all in aid of trying to raise awareness for blind veterans. 100k seems like a great distance, especially because a couple of years ago I wasn't able to walk 100 metres, never mind a kilometre. So,
well, good luck with that. Let me bring in Colin Williamson. Just explain what Blind Veterans UK does for people like Sean. We have heard some of it, but what's the aim?
Well, we believe that no one who's served their country should battle blindness alone. So we provide practical, emotional, financial help and support to all those that's wore the uniform. We provide independent living skills, training, mobility skills. We have an IT workshop where people of all ages come down and learn how to communicate. We have training kitchens. We have a dedicated rehabilitation team where they train people basically how to look after themselves. We're trying to give them back their independence and their self-esteem. And we've done some research and we found out that there's in the region of 68,000 former national servicemen who could be eligible to become beneficiaries. So we're reaching out to try and get these men to come into the charity and get the help and support that we've all received.
And we should make it clear it's service women as well.
So, yes, men and women, yeah.
For this event, you've got visitors from the States, you've got visitors from South Africa. So what's the idea of the exchange?
The idea was to extend the cooperation that we'll share on the battlefield. We'll have a week of camaraderie. We'll spend a bit of time looking at new adaptive technology for blind and visually impaired people. We'll talk about the war stories. Everybody's gone through similar experiences. And for some, it's quite a cathartic experience to actually sit down and talk among the fellow veterans about what happened to them. Just a fantastic week of learning and socialising.
Well, Adam Rowland is one of those visitors. Welcome to the UK, Adam.
Thank you.
And I understand that you've been trying out some cricket.
Oh, yes, sir. It's the first time I played it. The Brits obviously had a bit of an advantage. You know, they were whacking the balls out of there, but I managed to get a few good ones in and give them a run for their money.
How did it compare with baseball?
Oh, yeah, it was kind of a mix between the baseball and golf. You know, I'm just with a bat, so just kind of had to blend the two and use some common sense.
Right. Like Sean, you were injured while on duty. Can you just explain what happened in your case?
Yes, I was stationed northeast of Baghdad on the Iran border, and we would get mortared about 1 to 3 times a week. I was hit directly to my right eye socket. They medevaced me out of there. Then they shot a laser through my eye and to seal up the detached retina and keep the brain fluid from leaking into my eye cavity.
Right. Do you have any sight left?
I just have extreme light and dark. I have no definition to anything that I see.
So have I. Now, you too, of course, have had rehab. You've followed what sounds like a rather exotic rehab route because you've pursued this thing which is a bit like a rodeo rider. It's ranch sorting. Can you just explain what that is?
Well, I started with a horse therapy. That led me into the basics of the horsemanship, and then, you know, once I partook in the equine-assisted psychotherapy and the equine-assisted learning, learned how to saddle up a horse and whatnot, because I never really had any experience with horses.
So you'd not ridden before?
No, sir.
This is a competition, isn't it? What do you have to do?
It's a national competition. It's a ranch sorting national championship, and the basis of it is 2 round cattle pins pressed together in a figure 8 shape with the gap in the middle where they would meet, of course, and then you've got 10 cows in one side and you and your partner on the other side, and they're numbered with jogging numbers glued on their back 0 through 9, and the judge will call out random numbers. They'll say 3, 3, 3 is your cow, and I'll go from 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and so on right on back around to the number 3.
But you are a champion, I think.
Oh, yes, sir. I just recently won my first championship buckle. I'd been chasing it for about a year now.
Right. Well, just finally, I'd like you guys to compare notes a bit because, I mean, Adam, I'm interested. What have you noticed here about UK and the way it rehabilitates blinded service personnel? Maybe things the USA could learn from and vice versa?
The atmosphere is a lot more upbeat, a lot more camaraderie and compassion. Yeah, I found that it's a lot easier environment to talk about issues, and it doesn't seem like you're there to accomplish rehabilitation, but it happens at the same time right along in with all the joking and all that carrying on.
So a bit more fun, really.
Oh yeah, it's just more of a relaxed environment, so it takes all the worry and all that out of the equation, so I like it a lot.
The idea of the week is to learn from one another. There is quite a bit of socialising, as you can imagine, 2 sets of squaddies from different countries getting together. Quite a lot of fun, quite a lot of leg pulling.
So do you fancy taking up ranch sorting then? Is that something you could learn from it?
Definitely not from me, no. I'll leave the horse carry on to our American cousins. I'm quite happy where I am.
You could go for another record, Sean, a ranch sorting record of some kind.
Yeah, I'll give it a go. I'll probably be a bit faster in a wheelchair.
You could do a bit of cheating.
Yeah, anytime you like, Sean, you can pop across the pond, and I've got a guest house I'm working on.
Oh, yeah, sounds really good. I'll have to take you up on that offer.
Well, guys, enjoy yourselves.
Okay, thanks,
All
Peter.
right, thank you so much.
Cheers. See you later, Sean.
See you later, Colin. Bye-bye.
See you later, mate.
See you, Adam. Bye.
Colin Williamson, Sean Stocker and Adam Rowland, polishing up their tiaras, no doubt, for Thursday. That's it for today. You can contact us with your comments and to find out more by calling our action line for 24 hours from now. That number, 0800 044 044.